It's good.
Sorry for what?
Keep you waiting. Question for Coach. What we got? Oh, okay.
Offensively, the first 10 minutes.
My
a little
goodness.
ragged.
Yeah. Very stagnant. They played a 1-1-3. We call it a point drop zone, and they just did a really good job of matching to us. And they when we put our head down and tried to drive it, we didn't have a lot of success doing that. For whatever reason, we've had a lid on that far rim this weekend here. Gotta check the height on it. We've missed more dunks on that rim than we have in practice in our own gym here this fall. But I think that there's a combination of that, Mercer's effectiveness in zone. I guess it was mainly those two things. You know, that I thought that they set a tone defensively that carried over even into the second half when they went to man of stagnancy, of a lot of standing and too much holding of the basketball.
Something more positive. Free throws again, 2 for 2.
There we go. There we go. Shooting it better.
Trend, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully a season-long trend. We take that in a heartbeat. But it feels good to see that thing go in. You know, you earn your way to the foul line and to cash in. I know it's got to feel good for our guys, especially the guys that have struggled a little bit in the past and that are seeing the rewards of their labor. You know, a lot of guys, a couple guys on our team at least, have spent a lot of time in the gym working on their free throw strokes. I want to credit, you know, you get to the foul line 30 times, and Mick and I were just talking about this. Johnny Boone only gets 6 points, but he drew a bunch of fouls just in there ducking in and sealing and giving up his body, which actually allowed for some of his teammates to get to the foul line. So he actually scored it better, if you will, than the 6 that he got.
Defense and rebounding did a lot for you, obviously, throughout with
Yeah.
struggling shooting.
Yeah.
Especially offensive boards. Just talk about hanging your hat on
Yeah.
some of those things in the absence of great shooting.
Yeah, definitely. It was one of our strengths last year for sure, and it ought to be just as much a strength for us this year. You know, you lose Dorian, but you throw in there Devin and Justin kind of collectively are kind of taking his minutes. And Keystone's a good offensive rebounder. Canyon Berry's got size, and he's been accountable in terms of just going in there. We send 3 through 5, it's no secret. And we've got good size, good length, we've got good depth, so we can stay fresh. So it's, you know, it's funny, you get 76 against a very good defensive team, and I'm talking extremely sound defensive program. It was really impressive. You get 76 while shooting 36%, and it's points off turnovers, and it's getting 20 offensive rebounds.
What's your, you got a previous year like Kevon, he struggled the first
Yeah.
2 games. Do you tell guys like it, to keep shooting?
Oh,
shoot away at
absolutely.
it?
Yeah, big believer in it. Every time Kayvon shoots it, I think it's going in. And that might be a fault of mine, but I want him to be really aggressive. I've seen him, even though he's just starting his sophomore year, I've seen him in practices and games score a lot of points. And he can heat up in a hurry. I thought, in fact, he passed up on a couple of nights. But law of averages will kick in. He's a really good shooter, and he's shooting better this year than he did a year ago. So if he goes 2 of 8 from 3 tonight, you know, one of these nights soon, I think we'll see a 5 of 8, and things will even out.
Justin had a career high tonight, but when we talked to him after the game, he said he didn't even know until someone told him. What's it like to have a guy who's just completely focused on the game and couldn't care less about his own stats?
First off, I'm going to ask him. I'm going to make sure that he wasn't fibbing. That'd be pretty impressive if he didn't know that he had at least near that. So you'd want all your guys thinking that, staying in the moment, moving on to the next play, doing your job, letting it come to you, and after the game, go over and look at the stat sheet and have no idea how many they scored. You'd want everyone on your team with that mentality. I hope that's true. He's a hard playing guy, and he was all over the offensive glass and took good shots. So I was happy to see that thing go in for him. Mick and I were just talking about this as well. You forget it's only game 2, and I'm sure Mercer felt the same way in only their second game, their first against a Division I opponent. You're still, there's going to be, it's probably why another reason that there's so many upsets and so many odd scores that you see in the first couple weeks of college basketball is really because if you're a scorer or a shot maker, until you have somewhat at least of a breakout game, you don't really settle in. And so Justin hopefully he will settle in moving forward, and the game will slow down for him a little bit. He'll be a little bit more confident because of that. I think Johnny Bunu looked pretty good tonight, and he had a really good first game in terms of scoring the basketball. Canyon Berry, sometime soon, I'm sure will make a bunch of shots for us. Devin Robinson actually is playing at a high level, but here 2-3 weeks into the season, you'd like Kavaris Hayes came off a great game, but you'd like Kayvon to get it going, of course. Casey to knock down an open shot for us. Keystone, he's a better offensive player than people realize, and he just hasn't had those opportunities yet.
Mike, you're gonna play in a lot of different gyms. I mean, and nobody's fault, but usually a top 25 caliber program plays about 60-75% of their home games, November and December.
All
You're
home,
seeing
yeah.
the same,
Some
yeah,
of them
you're
play
seeing-
all at home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're seeing the same gym, but now you're gonna see a lot of different gyms. It's gonna be hard to get into an offensive rhythm with as many different venues as you're gonna play in.
There we go. We got our answer. Just blame it all on the O-Dome. I think that that's probably a factor. It probably is. I don't want to give that excuse to our guys, but certainly you feel better shooting the basketball at home. Yeah, you do. We played this game tonight in our practice facility. I'm not sure we would have defended as well or got the offensive glass quite as well. We have shot it as well, or better probably. So you don't have quite the home court advantage. We don't have all the hoopla here. We don't have the rowdies and the band and our cheerleaders and things like that. Yeah, we've got to find a way to focus more on our spacing, on cutting hard, on what our specific jobs are within our motion offense, and execute some calls that we happen to make throughout the game.
Just all 12 guys that got on the floor tonight got a point, even if there were 1 or 2 at the line.
Yeah.
Does that mean anything to you? Is that important for that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Darius Nichols pointed that out to me. Happy for Skylar. Skylar's been really good in practice, so he got an opportunity. Gorjak Gak, he's come a long way at the foul line. That first one looked pretty good for him. So yeah, it's nice to see those guys have opportunities. They're good guys. We got a locker room full of good guys. So I thought this too. I was you could hear our bench a bunch. I'm not sure if you all noticed it, but in a gym that was a little bit abnormally quiet, I thought that even on a night when 4 or 5 guys that played significant minutes didn't play their best, you could hear guys chirping at each other and rooting each other on. So I like the aura around our team right now. Certainly hope that continues.
At the start of the game, it seemed like Devin Robinson was in the post a good amount, getting some post touches. What
Yeah.
were your thoughts on that?
They started in zone, and I like him in the middle of the zone. We do call it the circle, and Devin's good in that circle. He's good with quick decisions. He can, some people call it the mid post. He's good at those mid post 15 to 17 foot shots, high low passes. He's got very good touch in there too. It's those shots at that high post. Dorian was pretty good in there. Keystone's really good in there. You'll see in time, but it's a harder shot than you would think when you're in that center of the zone and people are converging on you and the center's running out at you. It's a harder shot than a wide open 3 for some guys, and Devin's just got a pretty good feel in there.
Just in general, the start with 2 lopsided wins, how pleased are you, and what has this showed you about this team?
Nothing surprising, honestly. I'm not quite as jacked up right now as I was after the Florida Gulf Coast win, despite the amount of respect I have for Coach and his staff and the job they do, the Mercer program, just because of the way that we finished the second half. Just a little bit disappointed in the inability to maintain our defensive edge. You know, Holland, for him to get a few of those open looks late, when we're really, really locked in the first half, we did a great job on him. And you don't want some of those habits to creep in. But I tip my hat to our guys. The last 15 minutes of the first half, we were on it defensively. We were really good. And if we're going to be a really good team, which, you know, we have the potential to be a good team, you've got to do that for 40 minutes. That's regardless of whether we're playing Mercer or St. Bonaventure tonight or whoever. This early in the season especially, you're as focused on improvements as you are wins and losses.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.